Hello children, I'll continue the lesson Utaanka's Gurudakshina. Utaanka's Gurudakshina. So here Utaanka wants to get the gift for his mistress. So he went, what was the gift that his mistress wants? Earrings that was owned by the king's wife, queen. So she had been longing for that. So anyhow, he started his journey and he was trying to get it. So in that case, what happened? Let us see the thing. So page number 72. You can open the page number 72. So here it is. So let us have that. So king, even the king also smiled at him, and he told him that go and talk with queens. You go to queen's chamber and ask queen to have the things. So let us see what happened after that. The king looked at Utaanka as he stood there with. So he went. Utaanka went to the queen's chamber, but he could not find her. He went back to the king and said, "Sir, I cannot find her." As he was instructed by the king to go to queen's chamber and ask the earrings, so he went. Utaanka went there, but he couldn't find queen in that chamber. Okay, so he said again. He came back to king's chamber, and he began to ask, "Sir, she is not there in her chamber." The king looked at Utaanka as he stood there, with the dust of travel upon his clothes and his hands and feet dusty and stained. Is that how you would go to the queen?" he said. Okay, king began to look at Utaanka's dress, completely even dusty. He was looking so tired and dusty. All the dirty stains are there on the face, on his feet, on the hands, on the clothes. Everything is dirty. They are looking dirty. So king said that, "Is this the way to go and talk with queen?" Then Utaanka felt ashamed. Okay, he felt a little bit ashamed of it because he was dirty. He didn't get washed. So he said like that. Utaanka felt ashamed, washed and clean. He again went in search of the queen. This time he found her. Okay, now Utaanka could able to find his queen in her chamber. Queen held out her hand, and Utaanka saw the earrings sparkling in her palm. So already she kept the earrings in her hand. She had seen. "You are a good child, Utaanka," she said. "I gave you the earrings willingly, but beware. These earrings have long been coveted by the serpent king. Do not lose them." Listen carefully. So the queen is very good, no? So she also appreciated Utaanka's desire and Utaanka's hard work in order to get the earrings. So immediately she has given her earrings to Utaanka, and she began to appreciate him, and also she gave one instruction. So be careful, Utaanka, because these earrings have long been coveted by the serpent king. So there was a serpent king, means the king of serpents. So the serpent king is longing to have the earrings. Okay, and don't be careful. At any time the serpent king can come and take away these earrings. The serpent king can steal the earrings because he is longing to have the earrings. So be careful about it. Like that, she gave one warning to her. So at that time, then Utaanka thanked her and started for home. Okay, he took the earrings of queen and he started his journey. So Utaanka thanked her and started for home. Dusk was falling and he was tired. So as he was so tired, So evening, it was about to get evening, tired, and he felt a little bit sleepy. He might have felt sleepy. So leaning against the trunk of a tree, he rested, placing the earrings on the ground beside him. Okay, so what did he do? So Utaanka thanked her, and he started his journey to go back to his place, to his home, in order to give the earrings to his mistress. But as it was getting little bit dusk means even evening time, no? So he felt tired and he began to sleep there itself. So he was leaning on the trunk of the tree, and just beside him he put it his earrings, and he was taking rest. So at that time, what happened? Let us see. Suddenly he saw a hand snatch the earrings and disappear. Underline this statement. What happened? Suddenly he could see one hand came like this, and whatever the earrings have been kept, the hand came and just take away the earrings, and after that he couldn't see any hand. It was completely vanished, disappeared. Then he sprang to his feet and turned round in time to see a man dressed in rugs. So immediately he began to get up and try to search. But at that time, one man was dressed in rugs. So many rugs he was wearing, and he could see that fellow running through the forest. Okay, the man who was in rugs, so he was running towards the forest, through the forest. So this scene was saw by Utaanka. So even Utaanka also ran after him as fast as he could, when suddenly the man changed into a snake, which wriggled into a hole in the ground. Okay, what happened? That man who has stolen the earrings that was kept beside Utaanka, now that suddenly that man began to changed into like a snake, and that snake went inside the hole which is there in the ground. That happened. Finish. Is there any hope for Utaanka to get the earrings back? No, not at all. Snake has taken the earrings and went inside the hole. Even he cannot find that back. Let us see what happened, whether he will get it back or not. Now this is the second part. We can imagine like this. Utaanka was greatly distressed for. So now again, so he felt so sad about it. Try as he did, he could think of no way to get through. So small, and the hole is so small, and there is no chance to get inside the hole. Right? He sat down to lament his fate when an old man appeared before him. So he just collapsed completely, because that was that fate. He was thinking about his fate, how bad it is. So though he could able to get the earrings of a queen, but unfortunately he couldn't protect it, he couldn't save it, he couldn't preserve the earrings. So he felt so sad, and just he was lamenting. Lamenting means crying with so sadness. At that time, old man again appeared before him. Don't worry, my son, he said. I have come to help you. Even as he spoke, there was thunder and lightning, and a great thunderbolt fell. So as at that time old man appeared in front of him, before him, and he began to say, don't worry, my son. At that time, whenever he said like that, so I have come to help you. So he said that I came here to help you. Even when he says like that, he could hear the thunder and lightning sound with a great thunderbolt, right? So whenever seasons, rainy season, you can hear such type of sounds. So the whole earth shook at that time. Whenever he heard the sound of that old man, the entire earth began to shake like that, with the force of it. Suddenly all was quiet again, but next to where Utaanka stood was a big hole in the ground. So whenever he could hear the sound, again he felt, so he found himself in the ground. The big hole was there in the ground. There he found. At that time Utaanka entered the hole. So that was the hole of the snake. The snake went inside the hole. No, that the same hole. So now it has become larger, so that even Utaanka can enter the hole. So he entered and found himself in the kingdom of Serpent King. So he himself found in the kingdom of a serpent. So it means that he entered inside the hole where the snake entered the ground hole. So that inside that hole, so big serpent kingdom was there. What was there? Serpent kingdom was, it means so many snakes were there. So he walked slowly along. So he began to walk. That was a new place for him. He doesn't know that is familiar. It is not a familiar place. So strange it is. But still he was walking there so boldly. He walked slowly along and came to two women. So two women weaving a piece of cloth. So weaving, they are making one cloth, piece of cloth. No, they were weaving it. So he asked them the way to the palace of the Serpent King. So he asked, what is the way? How can I go? How can I reach the Serpent King? They did not heed him and went on with their weaving. So they didn't even look at him. Just they were involved in their work. What was their work? Weaving. So this was the first scene. He saw that their cloth was made of black and white threads. So they are making the cloth with black and white threads. He saw that was the first scene that he found in the inside the hole of the Serpent Kingdom. Next, he came to a wheel with 12 spokes. 6 boys turned the wheel round and round. After that, next scene, what was the next thing that he found? A wheel was there, and the wheel has 12 spokes. Right, like cycle. In the cycle, you'll have spokes, no, steel spokes. Like that, 12 spokes was there. Even 6 boys turned the wheel round, and so the 6 boys were sitting there, and they began to turn the wheel round and round. What are you doing? He asked. He asked the boy. They did not answer him. He began to ask, but they didn't give any reply to them, and went on with their work. So he went on till he saw a man with a beautiful horse. So at last he found one man who was with beautiful horse. Utaanka went up to him. He was so struck with the horse that he bowed respectfully to the man and said, "O Lord, I bow to you. Grant me a favor." So he began to ask, "O Lord." So he began to worship him and he honored him respectfully. So after that he began to ask, "Please, I want your mercy. I want your favor. Please grant me your favor. Please grant me your favor." Then